Hello everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Mug and Play. I'm Nick. Today we're playing more Cosplay Convention Crisis, and we're being detained without due process by an alien, or so we're being told, because we're hanging out with this girl, Talia, but we gotta see what's up with her. She's surprised that there's people cosplaying at a convention, so either she really is an alien, or she's a super awesome method actor. I rolled my eyes. What? No, not really. This is a geek fandom convention. We dress up in costumes at these based on our favorite shows. What is a show? So is that a religious ceremony of some type? To some people it is. Anthropology analysis systems rate chance it is a religious holiday at 78%. I mean, it's just as good. I arrived at the next piece of evidence that suggested that perhaps Talia might not be from this planet at a door with a normal turning handle. Talia handled it with less than finesse. For the next full minute, the girl proceeded to try repeatedly to open the door with various hand gestures. Then she tried telling it to open. Then she tried hand gestures. Then she jumped around in frustration. I just stood there, dumbfounded. If this was just play acting, then she was awfully good at it. Sure seemed like this woman, who was probably an adult, couldn't open a door handle right. Do you need help with that? Maybe. I walked over, turned around so I could use my hands, and then easily twisted open the doorknob. Incredible! You're really not from around here, aren't you? I squinted carefully. The more closely I looked at her skin, the less it looked like body paint. Indeed, I am unsure how you came to believe you were being deceived. After all, we had not attempted any disguises or infiltration tactics. Well, you picked a good place to do it. Talia leveled her head upwards and let loose a series of the strange clicking sounds from earlier. Was this how her species showed amusement? Just, that's how they laugh. You're also kind of a dork, aren't you? My translator program doesn't even know what that means. Talia and I continued past the panel hallways toward the entrance to both the game room and the dealer room. That's where you'll find me. After a while, I tried to make another innocence plea. I was hoping now that she was more convinced that she was actually an alien and had established some rapport, I could get the bindings off. You've told me that someone stole something important from your planet. I assure you, I had nothing to do with that. I've never even left Earth. He's not lying. I don't know why your machine thing keeps on telling you it was my fault, but I've done nothing wrong. I want to prove it to you, however I can. I am a Justicar of Avia, Jacob. If you are genuinely guiltless, then you will be treated mercifully. I am a defender of the truth and law. What would I do if an innocent was hurt under my watch? You have not been the most cooperative prisoner thus far, but I like you well enough. I hope you are indeed telling the truth and I can release you when the situation is cleared up. Without hurting you even. Thanks? I guess? Well, that hadn't gotten the cuffs off, but her posture was much less threatening. Progress? It's progress. We passed by the dealer room without incident. That only left one more major hallway. Sounds squawked out of the robot's chest, probably the scanners. Talia tensed. I tensed too. We turned to the corner of the game room and... then we ran into a familiar face. Makoto? Jacob? Thief! Donkey! Talia reached into her suit and seemingly from nowhere drew a comical-looking sci-fi weapon. She held it aloft in one hand, glaring sternly at Makoto. For her part, Makoto was still gasping. Return the treasure you stole from my people and surrender at once, you vile deviant! Do that and your cell will be comfortable. She leveled the gun towards Makoto. Some people crowded around the scene. From the whispers, perhaps they might have thought that this is some kind of photo shoot or game, just like my earlier captivity. Oh, I know you. It's the Justicar. Wait, what? Y'all know each other? Makoto took a step backwards, practically turning away bashfully. Talia kept her toy-looking gun steady on her. I guess I'm just going to have to give in and... A flash of red light blinded me. I didn't know what was happening, but the sounds of weapons firing convinced me to duck. Good plan. When the light faded, Makoto had shifted into a strange red latex outfit that clung tightly to the curves of her body. Around us, the other people who'd been watching blinked. A few complained about the light show. At least for the moment, I'm more concerned about the strange sci-fi weapon that had suddenly appeared in Makoto's hand. It was aimed at Talia, who had resighted her aim back on Makoto. They were in a Mexican standoff. Well, I'm pretty sure for a Mexican standoff it needs to be three people. I mean, I know that there are three here, but one of them's not involved in this scuffle. I'm pretty sure it's just a regular standoff. There's also one major change in situation, though. Behind me, both robots Talia had been accompanied by were laying on the ground destroyed. Smoke rose from their chests, and the confusion had Makoto shot them? I guess. This looks like a whip, not a gun. On the upside, the moment they went down, the cuffs around my wrists clicked open, perhaps because the robot they were connected to was destroyed? I don't know. severed the Bluetooth link. They're Bluetooth handcuffs. Aw, you thought just because you found me that I'd be easy pickings? That's cute. No wonder it was so easy to get past you the first time. Don't you dare mock me, you villainous cur! I am not a mere gynoid. I am the Justicar of Avia. If you think I can be dispatched that easily, you're mistaken. You're coming home with me. If you resist further, I'll bring you home your ashes instead. Justicar of Avia? If you don't bring me in, I wonder how long you'll have that title for. Maybe they've already demoted you and you don't know it. Interplanetary communication can be so woefully imprecise, you know? Talia spat to the side. I crawled near the downed gynoids. With some luck, maybe I could use them for cover. Whatever was going on, I was nearly positive those guns were dangerous. So is this like a situation where real aliens are at the anime convention? I'm into it. I told you to be silent. Talia fired a warning shot up into the air and then retrained her gun on Makoto. Part of the ceiling burst away in a haze of blue light. Few people pointed and chattered, but most still seemed to think it was a show. They're like, whoa, they must have put a bunch. How did they get that cosplay prop ceiling tile to disappear? Like, how much craft foam did you have to use for that? A few were even clapping. Yeah, see? That would happen. The dynamic is disturbed by the sound of running and someone pushing through the crowd. I looked towards the sound. The people in front were parted and a new arrival entered the mix. Makoto! And Jacob? Amanda put her hands to her mouth in shock. I wiggled my cuffed hands and groaned. Like, hey, can someone please help me over here? Before she can respond, Makoto gave me a wink and interjected. Give me just a second, babe. It's like, hey, ain't nobody talking to you. Still don't like you. Talia turned back towards me, probably remembering my existence for the first time since the shooting had started. She looked like she'd been slapped. Ah, so you were her accomplice all along. You lied to me. You pretended not to be involved. Your sentence will be incredibly painful, Jacob. What? No, Makoto, can you tell me what the fuck is going on? Probably not the absolute best time for explanations, sweetie. It's like, please stop calling me that. It is a form of abuse and I don't care for it. Thank you. She was right, of course. A single distraction could give the other girl the advantage. Surprisingly, though, it was neither Talia nor Makoto who made the next move to change the situation. It was Amanda. I cannot believe I'm doing this. She took a sidelong glance towards me, of all people. Was that fear in her eyes? Amanda took a step forward and swung her arms in a dramatic circle. It almost looked like dancing. It might have been the weirdest thing I'd seen all morning already. Amanda didn't dance. What? As her body moved, strange lights appeared from thin air, clinging to her. In moments, her entire form was covered in blinding pink light. I hadn't expected this. Talia gasped. Curses! One of Earth's defenders? Here? What a dire turn for this situation. If the lights weren't enough by themselves, Amanda was soon covered in a second wave of throbbing energy. Multi-shaded pink flashes that took the shape of hearts? Bling! Oh my goodness! So she's a magical girl? We did just spend 53 episodes figuring out how to date one of those. Didn't end well. In a sudden burst of movement, Amanda emerged from the pink heart, spreading the light behind her like a halo. But this was an Amanda different than any I'd ever seen in my life. Her short, boyish hair had been converted to swirling black back-length mass of blonde locks. Her Green Lantern cosplay had been totally replaced by a pink baby doll-esque outfit adorned with lace and ruffles. She was even carrying a sparkling pink scepter. As she emerged from the transformation, Amanda's body moved robotically into a dramatic pose with her scepter raised high in the air. It was like she was losing a fight with her own body. As far as it sails, love will prevail. She's like, I gotta be on brand with the scepter. At last, the transformation was complete. The light dissipated, save for a halo of random sparkling, and she swiped her scepter towards the two combatants. Magical Defender Pink will save the day. It was only at that moment that Amanda seemed to have realized she had an audience. The crowd was watching. I was watching. Makoto and Talia were watching. Her face burned the brightest shade of red I'd ever seen anyone's face reach in my entire life. Oh, eep. Her arms flew over her body in a desperate attempt to cover up all of her exposed skin. She was practically crying. I mean, hey, if you're not expecting to be in a certain costume or have your bits exposed, I don't blame you. Our main character was recently involved in a bathroom incident that was similar to that, so this was the approximate limit of my ability to process information. Aliens? Sure, why not? Makoto has sci-fi weapons and wears a boner-inducing latex catsuit. She was already weird anyway. But this? I've known Amanda for 16 years, literally the vast majority of my life, and she was some kind of maho shoujo? My brain snapped. Is that why she doesn't like weeby stuff? Because she's like, this is so inaccurate. So maybe she doesn't like anime and shows like that because she sees it and she's like, don't patronize me, weebs. What the fuck is happening? Makoto had also looked pretty shocked by the entire transformation, but recovered a few seconds later. Feeling a little underdressed there, cutie? I didn't know pink was your color, hee hee. Shut up! I've never transformed in public is all. Talia turned and pointed her laser weapon at Amanda. There's nothing you can do to stop this magical defender. Please leave immediately. This criminal stole one of the 3 sacred treasures from the secret vault of Avia. She must be punished. Her face softened. It was more of a plea than a threat. Amanda still tried to keep her body covered with the left hand, but pointed the tip of her scepter towards Talia. Earth is our jurisdiction. You don't have the right to do this. If you make a move to hurt any humans, I will stop you. Even if it's a human I don't like. She turned to Makoto, though she tried to bury her cheeks in her shoulder to hide the blush. If you want me to save your stupid butt from this alien, who you definitely horribly wronged, you really should shut your mouth for 5 seconds, okay? I wasn't able to say a word. I was barely able to keep up with the conversation. It's really silly to think that I need your help with anything. Her grin darkened. Watch this. What? Talia realized a moment too late that her gun had been on the wrong target. Before she could bring back to focus on Makoto, a series of red blasts rang out from her weapons. Pew, pew, pew! Talia dodged, opening fire with her own series of laser strikes. Pew, pew, pew! Pew, 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 pew! I have to provide these sound effects. But the sudden shock of Makoto's attack won the bout. A red beam struck Talia right in the chest. It burned a hole right through her, and she fell to the ground with a scream. The fuck? How do you think they achieved that effect? I like how no one in the audience is even fazed by the lasers. I don't know, but it was fucking amazing. Ouch. Yikes. In the chaos, Amanda rushed over to Talia's side, trailing glittery sparkles with every step. Her hands went searching around, checking for vitals. Jacob, please help me. That did it. I was still almost paralyzed, but the request was just enough to get me to scramble to her side. Blue alien blood dirtied the carpet. Talia was still moving, but clearly fading fast. I looked back for Makoto, but she'd vanished without a trace. Must have been easy in the confusion. You must return me to my ship. She gripped the front of my shirt. Her blood covers it. Even if I die, there is a contingency. What could I do? My brain was racing too fast. How would I even do that? Where was her ship? What would happen if I did? Clarity only came when I felt a gloved hand on my shoulder. It was Amanda, and she was shaking almost as much as I was. Do you know which way she came in from? Francis. Got it. With the slightest of ease, she threw the girl over her shoulder and made a dash for the exit. Within seconds, the two were lost in a sea of people coming into the con. Now I was the only one remaining. Me and the destroyed gynoids from... No, wait, the gynoids have vanished too. How did that happen? The fuck was that? The crowd had already begun to disperse. The show was over. Eventually, an employee from the con came over and asked if I was part of their cosplay group. Something about damage to the ceiling, and be like, we cleared that with the hotel. It's fine. It's a trick of the light. It's an illusion. Go away. I was only able to stop stuttering long enough to deny it. Like, fuck. Just spoken like a true poet. I stumbled back to my room and threw off my costume. Luckily, no one else was around. The presence of bags suggested my roommates had at least moved in already. Oh, yeah. I fell back on my bed. Talia. That girl hadn't been human. Makoto, she knew Talia. She was a thief that Talia had been hunting, and now Talia was dead. Was she dead? Or was just dying? And Amanda, where to even start with that one? The flashy transformation sequence? The magical costume change? The fact that the tomboy queen was caught dead in public in an outfit that looked like half a negligee? I gazed at the painting on the wall. The gorilla gazed back down into me. It's just you and me, old friend. Yeah, fuck you too, gorilla painting. Hey, what'd the gorilla painting do? Nothing. That's what. After that entire ordeal, I decided that I was in desperate need of a nice and relaxing shower. Also, me and my cosplay were both covered in blood, so I needed to do something about that. Yeah, makes sense. When I got out, though, the most obvious thing I noticed was that there was now a letter sitting square in my bed. Okay, odd. When I opened it, I found a note addressed to me in squiggly handwriting. Dear beloved Jacob, I am deeply sorry that you had to be entangled in all of those shenanigans downstairs. Though this does speed up my timetables, I did plan to tell you all about myself in time. I don't want you to think less of me for what happened. What I want least of all is for you to decide you don't want anything to do with me. So regardless of when you read this, I want you to know I'm free to talk to you. If you go to the food court, you'll find me. Don't worry, I know if you're heading in that direction. Love, Makoto. I was hoping for a split second that would have been a note from Amanda, but the fact that Makoto was in our room while we were in the shower, kind of terrifying. I gritted my teeth as I finished the letter. Fucking Makoto. But before I could even consider if I wanted to visit with her, I looked over to my phone and noticed that I received a few texts while I was in the shower. Hey Jacob, I know that probably was a lot for you all at once. I know for a fact that I'm not happy with the way that turned out. I wanted to tell you in better circumstances. If you want to talk, can you come visit me down on the panel floor? I'm in the Superheroes as Metaphors panel in Wing C. Every hour or so, I'll stop by the room just in case you don't get this for a while. I clutched the letter in one hand and my phone in the other. On one hand, holy shit, Amanda was a magical girl. What the hell? Yeah. I mean, well, here's to hoping she's doesn't meet the same fate as the magical girls that Bobson Dugnut was just interacting with, because none of those fates were pretty. Go watch the finale. It's intense. It's the longest episode I've ever done. On the other hand, Makoto robbed a bunch of aliens and just shot Talia. What the hell? Yeah, I mean, that's just plain rude. I wouldn't go with someone who shoots aliens. I mean, aliens are fucking cool. If anything, just be with the alien. Go explore the galaxy. You'll never have to pay your student loans back. Clearly, I need to talk with one of them if I wanted answers, but which of the two should I talk to was the question. Well then. I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk to Amanda because she's our friend, and Makoto's just not sitting right with me. She doesn't seem like she's my speed. Amanda, let's go with Amanda. Let's talk to Amanda. I arrived at the spot specified in Amanda's text a little after a bit of crowd dodging. Also, what's with this sudden super duper border? Is it because I chose Amanda and my score with her went up? I was almost held up because of an entire pack of Deadshoot cosplayers roaming the hallway playing practical jokes. I like Deadpool. Also, I love seeing these cosplays back here. You got Monica, you got Evangelion, you got, I'm guessing that's Freakazoid. I'm not sure, can't see, and Joker and Harley, yeah. That's cool. Nice little touch. Amanda was not hard to spot. She was waiting right by the door. So, I raised my eyebrow. So, when were you going to tell me you were a magical girl? I prefer the term superhero. Whatever, the point is, what the fuck was that? Aren't you going to ask how Talia is first? Oh yeah, how is she? I grit my teeth. Alright, you did have a good point. I did want to know that. That didn't mean I was going to let her conversational dodging off the hook. Fine, how is she? She's alright. I brought her to her ship, and the weird little robot she had around stuck her in some vat. She'll make a full recovery in a matter of days. I sighed softly. Well, that's a relief. That still doesn't answer my questions, though. How did you get the power to go all pink and shoot lasers in a skimpy outfit? Stop dodging. He's like, I want answers, kid. Tell me. I'm not dodging. She glanced away from me, not meeting my eyes. Always the body and language of someone being totally honest. So I took a page from her own playbook. I glared at her with my arms crossed until she would give in and tell me what she promised to reveal. Yeah. Fine. Fuck, I'll tell you. It was about 2 years ago. I was still doing the thing where I was a counselor for a summer camp. I remember that. Wixos Woods or something? Sure. Anyway, one night I heard a loud noise and went out to investigate. 4 other counselors must have heard it too because we all wound up in the middle of the woods staring at some alien spaceship. That was when this weird pink bear-looking thing came out of the ship. He claimed he was a boggle-bog, and if we didn't act fast, the Earth would be doomed. I held up my hands. She paused for a second. That was already a lot to take in. If I hadn't already seen her go full Madoka Magica, I'd never believed it. I like that. A boggle-bog? She slapped my arm softly and gave me one of her trademark glares. She's like, you know, a boggle-bog. Yes, a boggle-bog. Look, I know none of this sounds plausible. Notice I didn't tell you this shit before aliens started showing up at the con. Like, at all. Work with me here. Alright, continue. So, he tells us these aliens were invading the Earth. They were these little slug things that crawled into people's ears and takes over their brains. So to fight them, the boggle-bog told us he could help us tap into our latent powers. Sounds gross. Grosser than you could ever imagine. Anyway, so the Bogglebog had us drink this weird stuff, and suddenly there was a flash of light, and all 5 of us were... She turned away, blushing softly. It had all been too frantic for me to really get a great mental snapshot, but I was distinctly thinking about the skimpy girly outfit I'd seen her in before. She's like, hey asshole, one of my powers is knowing when you're thinking about my costume. Well, you saw. Since then, we've been fighting at least one alien incursion a month. We destroyed the slug things, but then there was another invader, and another, and another. It's insane. For the moment, I decided it would perhaps be better if I just didn't ask about the apparent fact that aliens invade the planet monthly. Put a pin in that one. I like that. Put a pin in that one. And speaking of putting a pin on things, I think we're going to put a pin in this episode, but I definitely want to come back to this, so we'll play it a little bit more. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you want to hang out with me some more, you can hang out with me on Twitch over at twitch.tv/MugAndPlay, where I play games live. It's a lot of fun. You'll have fun. Be sure to check it out and stick around for the fun. But thank you so much. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.